Can I ask, when you see, well, actually, can I ask you a practical question? Of the costumes which are actually in the exhibition, are they literally costumes which were made for the films, or have they been reproduced, so to speak?
No, they are the real costumes which were made for the film.
Presumably they existed in multiple form anyway.
Yes. We had always a minimum of 3 to 10. 3, that was the easy costumes, the one without any stunt work necessary on them. So 3, that was like the dream, you know, like when we just had the actor, the double and the spare. And it could have gone to 10 or 20 even, the one of Harry, the one where we needed to have fights and duels and all that.
And what I could ask this of the production design as well, of course. For costume for the moment, then I'll do the same question again. What's kind of the guiding principle? Because it's not like the books had huge illustrations which everybody had seen. It wasn't that kind of series. So how do you make it not look like a pantomime? I mean, what are you trying to make it look like? Or is it total fantasy?
Well, I must say I started number 3 with Alfonso Cuarón, who took me in, and the idea was to stop making it like a children's story and give it a little bit more of guts, making it for older public and making it a lot more contemporary. Not making like a little fairy tale, but making for something a little bit more agey and a little bit more witchy.
Okay, and I'm not going to dominate. I'm going to ask the same question of you for production design, and then I'll shut up.
Sure. Basically, there were a few clues in the book with regard to the age of the school, etc., etc. Set in it's a Gothic period, and so that sort of gives you a time frame. And basically, also same with Gianni really, when we got to sort of Harry Potter 3 and Alfonso Cuarón, the whole tone of our colour palette started to become more ominous, and so that was basically really our whole idea with that. But with all the sets were obviously, all of these sets here in this tour are original sets from the film. Basically, they dismantled the Great Hall from B stage and brought it over here into the new stage, etc., etc.
So I have a question for both of you. When obviously, I'm not sure if you'd read the books before you started working on the films.
Of course we did. What do you think? We know them all by heart.
Excellent, good to hear. So as the
heavens, there were only 3 at that point.
Yeah, and as the books came out, as the films went on, did you read the books keeping in mind as you read each scene, I'm going to have to eventually design this costume or this piece of the set? And were there any parts of the books that you found quite daunting, maybe, or quite exciting?
Well, yeah, I'm sure that happened to Stuart, of course, when he was reading the books, and obviously, I'm sure initially the production design of the castle and the school is a pretty daunting, ominous task, as you can see.
Find it ominous,
and that also has then developed throughout all the films as well, improving it from the original design and different angles, etc., using different films. So,
for us, it was a little bit different because we started with an idea, for instance, on book 3, and then when we were reading book 4, we knew that maybe the character that we had designed and projected in a certain style had been changed. And was not actually like suddenly it was a goodie, was a baddie to start with and became a goodie, or it was moving on or changing of style. And then that was always the problem, that opening the next book and thinking, oh my God, I hope I have been doing it well, because the film was always coming out a little bit later. So it was hard to understand, to sort of project what J.K. Rowling would have been thinking next, and having our character and our concepts right, thinking about the next, the future of the book. That was quite difficult sometimes. And I remember saying, "What will that character," calling her or trying to get in touch and say, "Will that character be going on, or is it like when I started with Dumbledore, and then I wanted to change Dumbledore and making him much more floaty and much more somebody who is walking and jumping and much more alive." And then I thought, oh my God, maybe she will have Dumbledore dying next week, how would I think what was going to happen? But then she said, no, this is going on for some time. So we could go on with it, you know. We had that sort of cases quite often.
It must have been quite hard, like you're working with a handbrake on.
Exactly,
Like you want
exactly.
a project, you want to do something, but you're going, no, I can't do that because who knows?
Or making that terrible mistake, character-wise, about somebody and knowing that, no, after all, you know, he's a very sweet person who went wrong. You know, like, it was very unsettling. But bon, somehow we managed, intuition, good luck, I don't know what it was, but we managed.
Yeah, and of course, sometimes the producers are able to get a little bit of access
Yeah.
to J.K. Rowling and ask or try to at least coerce some information from her. But of course, with the sets, it's a slightly different thing because for us to take down something like the Great Hall is an expensive thing to do, and then to rebuild it. But obviously, they take up so much space. Thank you very much. And in a limited, well, a relatively small studio with regard to sort of being able to revolve and rebuild sets, to take up such a large amount of space with a few key sets can end up being extremely expensive.
Did you ever think, by the time maybe we got to book 5, 6, 7, so definitely the back end of the saga, did you ever think sneakingly, oh, I think J.K. has started to kind of recycle what we've designed, so there might be a kind of reflux that actually she's being a little bit influenced by maybe the costumes, but more particularly the production design?
Everything, yeah, the actors as well.
I think we thought a little bit of that, but no, I think it...
I did.
I think...
You did.
I did because, you see, like, I remember when I started number 3, I talked to Stuart, and I said, Stuart, we are going to modernize it. That's what Alfonso wanted, and that's what it should be. And Stuart said, doesn't matter. The building is so old, and it will, you know, you can have modern kids in a very old building. So we keep our style. So for them, it was a different thing than for us, because, but I do believe in, although I never checked with her or talked about it with her, but I think that she must have been influenced by the actors which were chosen, and it must have been sort of taken and given, because when we had the Ivana, you know, the last of the gang, and I think that she liked her so much that she started writing things which were a little bit fitting with her personality. I might be wrong, but that's how I feel it.
It's true she had some input in some of the costume designs, like for the 6th film, didn't she have an input in the way her dress was designed? Or certainly, I know, to do with sets as well. She sort of had an input in Ivana, I'm speaking about. She sort of brought a lot of her personality into
yes,
it.
because Ivana was making herself jewelry, and she came to me and she had all those arty-crafty little things, and I thought, well, this is very good, because her dad is also, and then you did the set
and
like
then with
that.
the development
yes,
of her drawings, etc., as part of the
starting
the
on the personality of the girl
in the father's house, absolutely.
Yeah. We did. It was at a certain moment, you know, you work together, because I cannot believe that J.K. Rowling was also influenced by what we were giving, or at least picking out of that what she could use or what she wanted to use. And it was the same for me. I was thinking, oh, that's a very nice idea. Let me put it in the costume. And you were thinking, oh, that's not so bad. Let's use that. You know, of course, we work together.
And even Ivana came along and sort of said, oh, you know, these are some of the drawings that you could use, etc., etc.
Yes.
So she didn't have to be coerced into doing it. She
the,
just wanted to do it naturally, absolutely.
She had that lion's head of the Gryffindor, and that she designed that herself.
Yes.
And we thought it was so good, we used it. Yeah. But there were the other kids as well, not only that. I mean, Emma, she had a very strong idea about what her character was. And she was giving us lots of tips about it. So that's how I felt.
I mean, the obvious thing that changes, I'm just stating the blindingly obvious, if you're dealing with an actor or an actress between the ages of, say, roughly 11 and 20, is, you know, Emma became a beautiful young woman, the guys become handsome young guys, so suddenly they're attractive. But that's not what Harry Potter is about, so did you have to kind of downplay that?
Well, the hardest, we were like parents, so the hardest period was the teenager time. They were unbearable between 12 and 15, and they became really nice again after 15, like if you're a parent. So between when I met them, they were really very nice and sweet. Yes, mom, no, mom, okay, mom, and that was what. Then they started having ideas of their own, you know, like you will with a teenager. So we had to remind them that they were first, not more the girl than the boy, that they had first to be the character of the book. But very quickly, because they were actors first, and they were also so involved in the character they were playing that very quickly they changed. And then they started saying to me, I mean, Emma was saying to me, that's not what Hermione will wear. And I thought, hey, she got it, you know, and that was good again. But it was, of course, they all wanted to look pretty, to look thin, to look, well, yes, that's normal. But it was more the Bonnie. She had a time that she really had to be the poor Weasley, with mom making all the clothes. And that was 1 year that she was not too happy about wearing those hand-knitted thing. While Rupert never had any problem with it. Every time I was looking, I thought, oh my God, Rupert, I'm going to make you so ugly again. Rupert, don't. And he was saying, oh, fine. You know, he didn't mind. He liked it. He sort of liked his character very much.
Absolutely.
So that depends.
What do you think is the attraction that people are going to go, wow?
The exhibition.
Yeah, the exhibition.
Well, I think they are going to see what an enormous work we had behind. I think it's very interesting to see how that how all that magic was made, how much work was involved in it. You take for granted so many things.
Well, a lot of people think a lot of it is special effects.
Yes, but not only that, you know, all the sets, you think that they pop up like that. If you go to a castle, you shoot a castle, that's fine. It's not, you know, it has been lots of work. And then, even for me, when I forgot how much we work. You know, I look at it and I think, oh my God, I feel tired just looking at it. It has been a lot of work. And I also think that for the public, for the fan, getting closer to their heroes is wonderful.
So what projects do you both have coming up? What films are you working on this year?
I've got a little film called Gambit coming out at some point this year that I worked on with Stuart, and we're just sort of wrapping up a project for Universal in Orlando now, and I'm going on to do another film that I start on Monday, which I can't tell you anything about.
All right.
I did Wrath of the Titans, Gravity with Alfonso Cuarón, and I'm now finishing Skyfall Bond. I don't stop. Yes.
Skyfall must be the closest you've come for a long time to normal city clothing. If it's not fantasy, except it's subtly fantasy.
Everything is fantasy. The minute that you come in the world of film, it is a fantasy. Because it's not what Mr. Smith is wearing, is what James Bond, not that he's called Mr. Smith, but, you know, is what James Bond is wearing. You still have to create a character, and people go to the cinema to dream. They want to dream. They want to see their hero bigger than life, and you should never figure that. Even if it is a simple jean, is a beautiful, well-fitting jeans with the right character in it. It's always work. It's always a costume.
One thing I've always wondered is whatever happened to the wizard hats that we saw in the first film, because they never really crop up. They were kind of modernised versions of the wizard hats with the brims taken off. Were they outlawed?
I just thought that it should be something that a modern wizard will wear. You know, like, you are young, 20, you want to be a wizard, what should you wear? You wear that,
Yeah. Because obviously the whole school uniform was made to look more like a school uniform and not just robe. They often describe as robes.
When I changed the school uniform in the third year, first I wanted to use material, not synthetic material. I wanted to use wool, I wanted to use silk, I wanted to use cotton, and not use at all the synthetic material that the first uniform was made, because it is in my principle. And then I wanted to make it more wizardy-like, adding a hood and putting also the color of their school in it, where they belong. So you could see from far the Gryffindor and the Slytherin. So that's why we put the color inside, because I thought that it was extremely important for them to belong to a group. That's what a teenager wants to do. The teenager, they want to belong to a certain... it's very important for them to have an identity. So that's why we put the color in it. And then
Did you, if this doesn't sound stupid, did you ever look at any past wizards? I'm thinking of something like The Wizard of Oz. Did you ever stick the DVD on and look at what they did in The Wizard of Oz?
Yes, I saw them all.
Okay, and what did you either think, oh, I like that, or think, oh no, I'm not going to do that?
Actually, The Wizard of Oz was the most interesting of all. But I tell you, the hood on the uniform, for me, it was. Do you remember that cartoon, that Mickey Mouse cartoon?
Fantasia. Is
Yes.
Yes.
And I remember.
Oh, The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Exactly, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, because I thought they all have that little hood pointed on the back, and they all look like that. And this is what inspired me actually for the gown. And then, because I thought maybe one day they can put it on and they will have, but they never did it, because the hair, when it's done, it's done. But it would have been nice to have them all in a group with that little point on the back. It would have been a nice image.
Which do you think is the most unforgettable piece of art or in this Harry Potter?
In this whole exhibition?
Yeah.
I think it's
The most unforgettable one, the one
It's a
that
great one.
Well, the best section of the whole place is the art department. Starting from Stuart's office, walking up through all the concept art, and then through into the art department, and looking at all the white card models. You really understand the process that we go through to create the sets, and that's without doubt the best, most, for me especially, sentimental area, because I've been involved with it since the beginning.
And you were there from films 1 to 8 inclusive?
Yes.
Briefly, because I'm sure we're going to run out of time in a moment. So was there a completely different concept at the top, where you thought, let's go down that road, and then you finally got it right? Were there any alternative concepts?
No.
Stuart
had a direction really straight from Harry Potter 1, really knew which way completely. We started Harry Potter 1 never knowing there was going to be a Harry Potter 2. And of course, being such a clever man, he chose the right direction straight away, first film, and just tweaked it a little bit here and there just to improve that. But no, we didn't ever change concepts at all. Changed concepts quite mightily along the way in various areas, but the overall grand concept of the school of the whole wizarding world never changed.
And just very quickly, was there any set that was particularly versatile? Was there one that you were able to redress a lot for different scenes, or did each kind of section of the castle have its?
Not really. I think the biggest set that had the most redresses, really, with regard to it, was really the Great Hall. When we went to, we had the ice. What was that ball called? The Yule Ball. Thank you very much. The Yule Ball.
How could you forget that? That was a nightmare.
And then we had the concert and all that sort of stuff in there. Yeah, so that was probably one of the most diverse spaces actually to have used, and then various corridors, and also the room of requirement was
Yes.
I think from Harry Potter 5 onwards was used. After it had been the trophy room in Harry Potter 4 became the room of requirement, then that finally expanded all the way through into Harry Potter 7 with the big thing.